Florida's the dream, the sun, the beaches, no state income tax. So why on earth are people bailing? Well, buckle up, because in 2025, more Floridians are packing up than ever before, with cities like Miami and Tampa topping the Pod's moving company list of places where people are fleeing. But it's not all doomed today, because I'm going to reveal 8 real reasons based on fresh census data and my clients' stories, plus where they're heading next for a better life fit. So stick around. By the end, you're going to know if Florida is still right for you, or if it's time to explore the alternative. So hit that subscribe button if you're looking into smart real estate moves, and let's dive into this. Now, starting with number 8, overcrowding and traffic that's been creeping up straight out of a nightmare. Florida's population hit 23 million in 2025. That's up 467,000 from the year before and the census data, but that's mostly international movers. Domestic folks, they're hitting the brakes. Why is this happening? Well, one problem is hyperdensity and gridlock. The roads just can't keep up. In Tampa, what used to be a 20-minute commute is now taking 45 minutes. And Miami's ranked 4th worst in the nation for congestion. Now, I had a client, a retiree from New York, who moved to Orlando in 2022, and they loved the space. But just 2 years later, they sold and they headed to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, because the gridlock was sucking hours from their life in Orlando. And that's exactly why they wanted to move out of New York. But here's a new twist. It's not just the cars. It's the strain on everything. The longer waits at doctor's offices, the packed beaches, even grocery store line. A Pod's moving report says Tampa is now on their 2025 move out list in the nation. It's now the 16th most moved out of place. Now, if you're nodding along, comment below and let me know what's your worst Florida traffic story. Coming in next at number 7 is exploding cost of living, way beyond just rent and home prices. Sure, Florida's average is only 2% above the national average, but that's misleading, because in hot spots like Naples or Miami, it's 20 or 25% higher. Food is up 3%, utilities 2%, and healthcare, with so many retirees that are concentrated all in one place, wait times are insane due to the influx, and longtime residents are feeling the pain the most. In 2029, the cost of living in Florida jumped from 5% below the national average to today, where it's 7% above the national average. Now, this is brutal on fixed incomes. The new data for 2025, this is according to Kiplinger, it says that inflation has pushed up essentials by 23.7% in Florida in the last 5 years alone. And this is outpacing the wages. So if you're a worker, this is really crushing you. But retirees are feeling the pain as well. One retiree client of mine in Sarasota saw her monthly bills rise $500. She's now in Tennessee, where costs are actually 10% lower than before. But here's your fresh insight. It's the tourist tax on everything in Florida, from $32 burgers to overpriced home services. And the myth has been busted. Florida's not cheap anymore. Bring your checkbook and keep it open. Hold on, because number 6 is a game changer for families. Job market woes hit young people the hardest, leaving young folks completely behind. And it's becoming hard for residents to get services they requested and actually need, because nobody shows up. Now, many workers in the service industry just can't afford to live in the state. And Florida's unemployment rate is low at 3.1% in March of 2025, but better than the national average at 4.2%. But what about the quality of jobs? Now, based on the comments in my previous video, yow, it's rough out there. NASDAQ reports that young people 20 to 29 are fleeing due to the lack of high-wage jobs. And the median income for many of these in the service industry, they're leaving because it's just $36,554. And tourism and service jobs dominate Florida, and they don't pay enough for rising rents, which are averaging $1,986 even for a small apartment. Now, in my experience, a millennial couple that I helped relocate from California thought that Florida's growth meant opportunities, but it turns out the wages in Florida lag 10 to 15% behind even states like Texas. And now they've moved to South Carolina, and they're both working for BMW. So if you're under 35, does any of this ring true? Go ahead and drop it in the comments. Next is number 5, and it's Florida politics that are deeply polarizing, with neighbors and communities often battling in fiercely debated issues from both sides of the fence. In Florida, it's not just theater. NBC News and Fox News have both interviewed transplants who left the state of Florida after feeling divided in the daily life. Everything from school board fights to neighborhood tensions. But there's a new angle for 2025, and it's wearing out even the non-political folks. Census data shows that over 510,000 people left in 2023, and that's the last year of full data that we have. So what are the alternatives? Well, states like North Carolina offer milder politics and similar perks, but not everyone cares. But for those who do, it's a top push-out factor. Number 4 is a shocker, and that's the wildlife and bugs that sound kind of minor, but pack a punch. The warm, wet climates are perfect habitat for wildlife, insects, and the Florida man vibe from nature. Alligators snatching pets pets, it's happening. Black bears in backyards, yeah. And Shark Week every week of the year, it's real. But just remember, it's amplified by the media. Reddit, Instagram, Facebook, and all social media threads from 2025 have exploded with complaints about the heat, the humidity, and the bugs doubling during the people population boom. Cockroaches and bed bugs are worse in humid areas, and venomous snakes, yep, they're everywhere in the South. But the twist is a hurricane with fears, confusion, and multiple evacuations. A family I know from Fort Myers lost their dog in the scramble when they were escaping from a storm, and they got exhausted from packing up, sitting in traffic, and all the Florida evacuations. And they just wanted a more relaxed lifestyle, and they moved to the mountains of South Carolina. Now, this is a minor factor overall, but Atlas Van Lines says that 15% of the people leaving Florida cite all the evacuations as the final straw. And it's not a myth. Reasonable people get freaked out. Up next is number 3, homesickness that's deeper than you think and how it sneaks up. Now, the lack of familiar community, it happens as people hibernate inside their house, hiding from the heat. And it happens inside Florida's gated HOAs. They may sound secure, but some people never grow up, and it ends up being just like high school was. You remember that, don't you? 2025 insights are these numbers are coming directly from the Florida Chamber Foundation. And the median age of people who are leaving Florida is 32.7 years versus 35.4 years for people who are arriving in Florida. Younger folks bail out for financial reasons and family ties. Now, my Naples client lasted 3 years in Florida before moving to a little bit further north. And they didn't go all the way back up to Ohio. They bought a super nice house in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, where they used to vacation as kids. But then they later relocate halfway back home in the north, and they often see a balance between warmer climates, familiarity, and regional preferences. Go ahead and comment if this hits home with you. Number 2 is a big one. Insurance premiums are so high that they're making your jaw drop, literally. And it's happening. In Florida, homeowners face sky-high insurance costs, tripling national averages here at over $5,000 a year, and a 50% increase in just the past 4 years. So go ahead and plant this thing forward. How much is it going to be in the future years? And if you live near the water, go ahead and add additional flood insurance. Auto insurance? Pfft, yeah, it's the 6th highest in the nation. And companies like Farmers have completely pulled out of the state, leaving fewer options. Why? Hurricanes and lawsuits are inflating the claims. USA Today says that 15 plus insurers have stopped selling new policies this year alone. And out of the people who are leaving Florida, 25% say this alone was the reason that they're going. Now, finally, number 1 is the ultimate deal breaker: hurricanes that just won't quit. Hurricane fatigue and extreme weather. Everything from Ian to Irma to Helene to Milton. Florida is the number 1 hurricane state in the nation. Last year alone, Florida experienced 4 named storms, and 3 of them reached hurricane status at landfall. Now, rebuilding exhaustion, it's a real thing. Communities and homeowners in cleanup mode all the time. Insurance denials and uncertainty. Some people have had enough. 38% of Florida transplants regret moving there, partly due to the extreme heat and humidity, especially during the power outages. There's another client story where retirees from Cape Coral rebuilt twice, and then they fled to Arizona. But the stats are showing Pod's moving survey says that severe weather was a top driver for those in South Florida, with the number 3 move-out rankings. Now, even with all this going on, Florida is still growing overall, even with all these people who are moving out. So where are they heading? Top spots? North Carolina. Lower costs, jobs, and the outdoors. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it was number 1 on the Pod's list, and it's 5th lowest property taxes in the nation. Tennessee, it's affordable, it has no income tax. And Georgia, and even parts of South Carolina with 75% fewer hurricanes than Florida, and people are even moving to the rural parts of North Carolina. Now, all of these options offer 10 to 20% savings and many fewer storms. Now, Florida is amazing for many, but it has changed a lot. And if you live in Florida, just know the realities. If you visit Florida, it's still great, and it's a great place to visit. So what's your take? Are you staying, or are you eyeing a move? Go ahead and comment below. Did any of this stuff help? Go ahead and share it with somebody you know who could actually use this information. And subscribe for more real estate truths. And if you need an agent connection anywhere in the United States, just give my team a call. Thanks for watching. Stay sunny out there. Take care, guys.